Good
Good
afternoon, good
morning.
morning, good evening, wherever you might be. My name is Marva B. I am the CEO and founder of Black Link Magazine, and I'm so excited to be here, so excited for my guest today. And we may have another guest. Shout out to Mr. John Blassingame, who should be coming on this interview as well. But I'd like to welcome the Miss Valerie Denise Jones to our platform today. Valerie, welcome.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely excited to speak with you and get to know a bit more about what you do, and then learn about how yours and Mr. Blassingame's connection happened some time ago. So this is exciting for me. You guys go ahead and as you come in, leave your comments. We love to read the comments. Follow us on YouTube at the Black Link Experience and on IG at Black Link Magazine. So let's just jump right into this interview, Valerie. If you would, go ahead and formally introduce yourself to our audience, which is a new audience for you. Let them know who you are and what you do.
Awesome. Thank you again for having me. It is very awkward being on this side of the microphone. Typically, I interview. So if I'm short, it's because I don't know how to talk about myself. But as you mentioned, my mother and father named me Valerie Denise Jones. So I use my full government name. And I did that because there were other Valerie Jones is in the interview, one who was quite famous, the Jones girls.
Mm.
So after I started my modeling career, I decided to insert my middle name into the equation. And I think there are a few others who have my same name, but I seem to be leading the trail as it relates to Valerie Denise Jones. So I'm going to stick with that until I can't anymore. But yeah, I am doing more PR these days than radio. I'm a former model. I got my first start, as you mentioned. It was Mr. Blassingame, John Blassingame, introduced me to the professional industry. I mean, I had been in and out from
Right.
childhood up until that time, but it was Mr. Blassingame who gave me my first. Um, I wish I knew how to word it. My first commercial was a Pepsi commercial at the age of 8. I also did Sesame Street. I did a lot of modeling shows and fashion shows. I grew up in Miami, so I was doing a lot in the industry, but Mr. B was the first to put me on stage. Because of him, I walked a runway for the first time, and then he gave me my first introduction to magazines because he was the first to put me in a magazine. I actually placed, and yeah, I was the face for quite some time.
Well, thank you for sharing who you are, and for sharing, shouting out Mr. B. He does a lot for a lot of people, and I'm just thankful for our connection as well, and the things that he's done for Black Link Magazine. So again, shout out to Mr. B. Hopefully he'll come on this afternoon. So let's just get started. You talked about starting in this business really like at 8 years old. How was that connection? Did you always know growing up that you wanted to be in an industry like this? Was that your goal, to get into this entertainment world, so to speak? Or was that something that eventually happened?
No, actually, even today, it's still not my dream. That was my mother's dream. My mom wanted her children to be child stars. And had it not been for her temper, I probably would have been able to do more in the industry. But if you pissed my mom off, she was in the car and she drove far, far away,
Oh,
from Miami to Gainesville, from Gainesville to Miami. So by the time I hit the 12th grade, I'd been to 9 different schools.
oh wow.
And so, yeah, so I was in and out of the entertainment industry. It was fun, but the problem was I was very, very shy.
Mm.
So shy and celebrity, are not synonymous. So, but yeah, I did get to do quite a bit, but it was always touch and go. So even with Ebony Fashion Fair, and shout out to the Johnsons for giving me an opportunity to showcase my talents on the runway. But yeah, I really didn't want to get into modeling. I'm not vain enough to really enjoy the entertainment industry. I don't like people to take pictures of me. I don't like people
You
staring at me.
really?
I'm comfortable with compliments, but it's not about self-esteem. It's just I'm probably a tomboy somewhere deep, deep, deep inside.
You
That's
know,
probably the problem.
yeah, it's crazy because like how we are so, kind of find a likenesses between the both of us. I'm very introverted and you wouldn't be able to tell that. I never really liked being in front of the camera. So when they say, well, send me your headshot or your professional, I'm like, I gotta go find one or I gotta do a photo shoot because I just, like in the last few years doing the magazine started taking some pictures, but I was just like that. And you're right, being in this entertainment world, especially you as modeling commercials, they have to have pictures of you. So once you did get into that realm of things, did you did you was it hard for you just to get settled in that because of your being shy? Or did you just jump in and just play the part? Just go roll with the punches?
Well,
Just
I am the type of person, once you give me an assignment, I will execute, and I believe in seeing through things through to its completion. So once I was tasked with the assignment, yeah, I began to look for ways to promote myself and expand my brand. So, for instance, let me tell you a short story. Hopefully, I can find the shortest version to
okay.
get to the finish line. So, at the age of 19, I called into a radio station. And when I called in because my brother wanted to win tickets to this concert. And I had to call like a gazillion times and finally got through and we won the tickets. Well, the guy, of course, when I called in, I had to give my information. He called me back like the next day. Forgive me if it's not the next day, but it was like within a few hours or a few days, something like that. He said, I like your voice. I'd like for you to come down and pick up the tickets personally. And so I went down with my brother down to the radio station and I booked a job on site
Oh, wow.
as a radio personality. But they didn't want me to be on the air, male dominated, all males on the air. They wanted me to spearhead what you now know is street team. And I'd like to say we were one of the first to kind of popularize it, or at least in
Uh-huh.
the East Coast. I can't speak for other parts, but anyway, they were called the Magic Models. I worked for Magic 101.3 in Gainesville, Florida.
Mhm.
Okay, and this will make sense in just a second. Um, so I did radio, and I was over the models. I got to hire the models, and we became community famous. I guess they call it Insta famous now. So
Uh-huh.
the little bootleg version of celebrity, but
Yeah.
we were very well known, in the communities and surrounding areas.
Uh-huh.
So every single year, because again, my radio station was predominantly male, they didn't think that it was kind of beneath them to broadcast at the Ebony Fashion Fair, the shows. So of course they picked me each year to go and broadcast live. So I did it, and I thought the show was fascinating. So
Right.
the first year I went, there's a guy. His name is Steve. He's the tour manager. Steve walks over to me and he says, "Hey, you know what? Have you ever thought about modeling?" And I said, "Oh my God, here we go," because that was my mom's dream. Remember?
Yes.
And
Yes.
I thought I had pushed that under the rug, deep, deep,
Right.
way down deep somewhere. And so I said, yeah, you know what? No, I never did. And he said, so you should consider it. And I said, okay, yeah, no problem. I'm doing my radio thing, right?
Right.
So I interviewed him, interviewed the models, and he gave me his phone number and I think an application or something. You're supposed to, I can't remember the process, but he gave that to me and he said, all right, I'm gonna be looking for you to call. And I said, okay, cool. Yeah, of course I'll call. So I didn't call. Okay.
Right.
A year went by. I get booked again to do the Ebony Fashion Fair show. And I'm at the show. This time I take my mom. Mom, you got to see this show. You know, it's going to be great. It was fabulous last year I was there. I'm doing my job. So we sit down, and there happened to be, because I'm backstage.
Mm-hmm.
So there were 2 seats in the front row that were reserved for us. Sit my mom down. She's down. I'm doing my job. I come back, and then there's Steve. Steve comes out and he said, "Hey, I remember you." I
Oh,
said, "What?" I forgot. Totally forgotten the
yeah.
conversation. He said, "Yeah, I remember you." He said, "Well, what happened? I thought you were going to submit." I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, I thought you were going to submit. I told you to submit. I wanted you to submit because I wanted you to, come and audition to become an Ebony Fashion Fair model." My
Right.
mom said, "What? What?" She was losing her mind. I said, Mom, what are you doing?" She got so loud, talking black loud, right? So my mom was like, "Oh my God, my daughter's gonna model." I said, "Mom, no, that's not what he said." And so my mom said, "So what does she got to do?" And he said, "Well, she got to submit some pictures and she's got to fill out the application." I gave it to her. I'll give it to her again. She called this number. He gave all the information to me. My mom snatched it out of my hand, and he said, "You're going to submit this time, right?" And I said, "You know what, Steve? I don't have pictures. I don't think so. I don't think I could do it." Well, God must have wanted that to happen because you remember I told you there were only a few seats open. The
Yeah.
guy next to me, his name is Tony. Got to
Mhm.
give Tony a shout out. Tony said, "Well, I'm a photographer. I could take pictures." Marva, I died and rose again. I said, "Oh my God."
Oh,
No, this is not happening. This
this
is
is
not
it.
my dream. This is my mother's dream.
Right.
So my mom's like, "Oh my God, you got to go. You got to go." So she filled everything out. She made sure I went to that audition. So here's the problem. It gets even more interesting. So I am 5'7 3/4". I do not measure at 5'8". The
Right.
minimum is 5'10". Okay. I'm an
Oh,
elephant. They are giraffes. Okay.
oh,
Elephants and giraffes don't look the same on a runway. I
right.
have never, outside of Mr. John Blassingame's runway, never walked the runway. I
Uh,
love heels. I'm a girly girl. I love fashion,
yeah.
all this stuff, but don't do the runway thing.
Right.
So I get to Chicago. They fly you to Chicago, put you up in this beautiful hotel. I meet all these beautiful women, stunning,
Hmm.
absolutely stunning. And I get there and they're taller than me. And then when they put on heels, they're even taller. I don't know what to do. So I start practicing in the bathroom. And I said, "Lord God, if this is meant for me, then God, I'll do it because I know it'll make my mom happy."
Right.
So, all right, I'm going to do it. I go and I walk the runway and I don't have a clue what I'm doing. I had watched videos. This is before, you can YouTube, you can
Right.
YouTube now. I did everything. I practiced. I talked to people. So I told you, you give me an assignment, I execute. So
Right.
I did it. I was a mess. You talk about a train wreck. I was a mess. So I go in, the girls come in and they tell you when you're inside, they call like, such and such, come back, and then you make you walk again. And so I can't remember what happened, but I didn't make it. Okay.
Oh,
So I was happy. I was
I
so
know
happy.
you
I was so
were.
happy. So my mom, I get on the bus. And my mom says, she called me, bring, as soon as I'm walking up the steps. I said, "Does this woman have like a drone or something?" And I see no, I'm on the bus. But I'm getting on the bus and my mom calls and I said, "Mom, I'm walking up the steps." I put my bag down. I sat down. I'm so nervous. And I'm like, "Mom, I hate to tell you this, but yeah, I didn't get picked." And I'm smiling, but I don't want her to
Yeah.
hear it through the phone. And she said, "What? Oh man, I prayed so hard. I wanted my baby." Blah, blah. I'm like, "Mom, I know, but maybe I don't know what I said."
Hmm.
But then, as I'm talking to her and lying, this man walks on the bus. He says, "Is there a Valerie Jones on the bus?" I looked up. I thought I had taken the people, something. I thought I'd stolen
Yes,
something, like, how
right.
you put on their shoes, or I thought
Yes,
I'd, grabbed something and return it. And I got nervous. I'm like, I started thinking, wait, no, I
yeah.
want my own shoes. And he said, Valerie Jones, you on the bus? And I said, yes, sir. And he said, follow me. Oh, Lord, I'm nervous. My
Yeah.
mom's on the phone. What's happening? What's happening? So I get off and I go back into the back into the building. Chicago, this is the big famous Ebony Fashion Fair building, or
Right.
Fashion Fair building.
Right.
I walk in, I get on this elevator, he says nothing. So of course, when I get on the elevator, the call drops. So now my mom
Right.
can't hear. We go all the way, it seems forever, Marva, all the way to the top. And the door opens. Just think of Coming to America, the movie, the
Yeah.
Eartha Kitt scene. And he walks me into this office, beautiful furniture through one door and then another. And then this little tiny lady appears. And I'm like, is that Miss Johnson? And she walks over to me and she's short. She asks me, bend down. She says, is this your hair? She put her hands in my hair and I said, yes, ma'am. She said, so it's not a weave. I said, no, ma'am. And she said, so you don't wear a lot of makeup, huh? No, ma'am. And she said, well, how do you feel about makeup? I said, I'm nervous.
I
What?
like
And I'm not used to women touching all of my face. And I'm
that.
like, what is she doing? Like, what's happening? And so she says, well, he said, well, you think you could take a little break? And I'm thinking, well, dang, well, maybe I got a radio job or something, because I knew I didn't get the modeling gig.
Yes.
Maybe
Yeah.
that, I get to go on tour and do some emceeing or something. That's what I'm thinking. And she said, yeah, well, somebody's gonna call you, blah blah blah. And I get back down. The man, he says, I need you to go on the bus and take your stuff off the bus. I said, well, why? And he said, girl, you haven't figured out yet. You're an Ebony Fashion Fair model. I had called my mom by this time. She started screaming. I said, oh my God, I didn't know whether to cry or to. I was so depressed. I
Oh.
didn't know what to do. I couldn't even feel good about the moment.
Oh.
But yeah, 2 years later, I guess it was just fate. It was just fate. But
Yeah.
that was the
So,
craziest story
yeah.
of my life.
So you got that. You went through all of that and did the ebony thing. Ha- At,
Hmm.
at what point? So at what point? Let me back up. How far did you go with that? Like, how long did that last?
2 years. I did 2 years with them. The first year when you tour, I really kind of finding your way.
Mhm.
And then I just got really bored and I said, if I go back, I'm not going to do it the same way. So what ended up happening is the second year, this is the year of fax machines now. It wasn't like now where you could, airdrop and do all
Right.
this stuff within seconds. You were not supposed to do like interviews and stuff like that. You had to get permission.
Uh-huh.
And that took forever. We're in a new city every single day. I literally worked in every state of the United States of America, right? So you just don't have time to book, say, hey, we're going to, we got an interview at the newspaper. We got an interview with the TV station. We got an interview on the radio. You
Mhm.
didn't have time. So I just started doing it.
Right.
And that's when I knew it was time to go, because it wasn't about modeling anymore for me. It was about branding, expanding my brand. I
Right.
know who I am. Who I am today is who I've always been.
Right.
I love public relations. I love brand management and strategy. I am not a model. You know what I mean? I can
Right.
model, but that's not who I am. What I am doing now is I believe is my calling.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So Mr. B is trying to get in. I'm not sure if so I just resent that link again. Hopefully that'll work. But anyway, so you did that for two
Mhm.
years. And
Hmm.
you move on from that. Is it at 2 years? Is there like a contract for 2 years, or is it 2 years and you decide I'm
Oh no, you have to sign up every year. Yeah, every year you get accepted. But yeah, you have to say yay or nay
okay?
if they say you can stay on. And yeah, after that second year, I didn't even call back, or I just knew I was done. My mom said, "Oh, it's okay." She had gotten all she needed,
Yeah.
so she
So
released me too.
so once you did that after the 2 years, what was next for you in your life? Was it into radio, or where did you go from there?
Well, intro to fast money and fast life. So while I was on tour, I got to meet a slew of wonderful people. But I didn't grow up poor. My dad, here's here's a little known secret, but I tell a few people. My dad was a pimp, so I grew up around a lot of money. I grew up, not that, not like a lavish lifestyle. I was no Paris Hilton or Black Kardashian, none of that kind of stuff, but I didn't want for anything. My dad had money. He hustled.
Mhm,
His motto was if there's a dollar out there to be made, he was going to get it.
mhm,
And yeah, he had mouths to feed, so that was important to him. But yeah, so I know how to hustle and hustle harder.
mhm.
So when I was on tour, I got to meet a lot of people from football players and you meet some of everybody. Ananda Lewis, I walked on the set of My Wife and Kids. I got to do TV and radio and
Right,
movies and most of the stuff was like commercials and voiceovers and I
uh,
never really made it big,
right.
but I did a lot of stuff
Mhm.
within that. I did a little stint on The Young and the Restless, like just no, not Young and the Restless, The Bold. I think it's called The Bold and the
Bold and the
Beautiful.
Beautiful, really?
Yeah, yeah. So just just like a lot of different things. And so when I got out and I come back to Jacksonville, Florida, it's like okay, you know, life kind of just slowed down quite a bit. So I'm like, so where am I going to get some money legally and still
Right,
you know, keep up that pace because now you once you taste that blood, you want more of it, more of it.
right.
So then, yeah, I signed up with a bunch of agencies and music videos was the route. So $1,000 or more per day. You can
Wow.
book a bunch. To
Uh-huh.
make 10 grand a month was nothing. So that's
Wow.
the route I took
That
until
was
I
good money.
couldn't anymore.
That was good money.
Yes, ma'am, that's good money now. I wish I was still
Yeah,
making
it
that.
is now too, but it's really good money then, yeah.
Yeah.
As a Black woman, a Black young lady, how
Hmm.
did you feel any struggles? Were there anything that you felt like, that just ain't right? Is it just because I'm a woman, I'm Black? Like, did you experience any of that?
I dealt with a lot of I haven't truth be told, it wasn't until the military that I was introduced to racism. That was my first introduction and sort of kind of one of few. You know, but colorism, yes, lots and lots and lots of that.
Wow.
Even during my tour with Ebony Fashion Fair, I felt like a dark skinned woman. I
Mhm.
felt I missed a lot of opportunities
Mm.
because of my skin color. Yeah, music videos. I remember, I'll say this real quick. I will never forget, I was on the set of a Wyclef Jean music video,
Uh-huh.
and I was booked for the lead, which paid, it was a couple grand. I can't remember how much now, but he specifically asked for a dark skinned woman, a woman of a darker hue. Now, this is in Miami now.
Right,
And Latin women are beautiful women. They
right.
can look black or Latin or, they come in all different colors and flavors.
Mhm.
And my heritage is Bahamian and black. And, my grandmother's half black, half white. But
Mhm.
I'm dark skinned because my mom's dark skinned. My dad was brown.
Right.
But having said all of that, I'm on set. I'm actually was driving from Jacksonville to Miami. I get a call from my agent and she said, "Look, I know that you were scheduled to do 3 days on the set. You're still, you can still do 3 days on the set, but they found another lead. They
Mhm.
have to pay you for the first day,
Mhm.
but the second day, still more than $1,000 or more per day. So it wasn't like I
Right.
was losing out, but it was probably double or triple. I can't remember what the lead made. I think 3,500 versus maybe
Uh-huh.
15 or 18, something like that. And I was okay with it until I got on set. Got on set, everybody was Spanish. Everybody. The caterer, the DP, the PA, the
Uh-huh.
wardrobe person, everybody's Spanish. So then when they show the lead person, see coming up, and when I was in the industry, people said, "Oh my gosh, you look like Gabrielle Union." Everybody said that.
Uh-huh.
This girl looked like the Spanish version. She was the Spanish version of Gabrielle Union.
Uh-huh.
She looked like me.
Uh-huh.
So they took a me, and because they're Spanish and Spanish people stick together, they
Mm.
hired the Spanish girl, took my
Uh,
job. And then the worst thing was when we got on set, this was supposed to be a reggae video, right?
all right.
I think there were a total of 30 girls they booked 30 girls. I get on set. There are 3 black girls. I'm one of them. 2 other girls. One girl, drop dead gorgeous. And this other black girl, her features were perfect. Like God just took his time. Dark skin. So we go into wardrobe first. We stuck together. We go into wardrobe. The Spanish lady has given out all the good clothes, right? She wants to put us on something like we're coming back from Africa. I said, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. That's not happening. So all of us, we'll wear what we got on. We came prepared, put on our clothes. So they asked us to go on set. They said, hey, pile in, get on. I knew. I told the girls, I said, hey, they got to swipe the DJ. So I said, you stand, I'm going to stand on one side, you stand on the other. And the other girl stood in front. So that's a little triangle, right? Well, by the third, I wouldn't even give it the third take. I think the second take, you would have thought we were in a Rosa Parks video. We were strategically placed in the back. So we got an attitude at this point, because you could tell we're being singled out. You could feel this reggae video is also already turned into salsa. By the time, the thing that upset me regarding this was Wyclef makes a speech and he singles us like black people out.
Mhm.
And he goes, hey guys, don't something. I forget. It was like a I have a dream speech. And he told us, yeah, we shouldn't, because one black girl was just getting tired. So she said, if I could leave, that would be great. She had booked another Miami. You can go from set to set. She
Mhm.
booked something else, more money and then better treatment, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, he made such a display he talked about her weave, the fact she wore a
Uh-huh.
weave. I'm talking this girl. Come on, bro. Like that, that was a $1,800 weave
Yeah.
easily.
Wow.
And I didn't like that. And that was probably my worst experience. But I dealt with a lot of sexism,
Mm.
and colorism in
Right.
the entertainment industry.
Welcome, Mr. B, to the interview. How can you tell me how you connected with Mr. John Blassingame to be the first, for your first time walking on a runway with him? How did you guys get connected?
Yeah, so it was Thanksgiving weekend, and I had always been a huge fan of his magazines coming up, reading them. Again, not wanting to necessarily be in them because I told you that was my mom's dream,
Right.
but I loved fashion. I loved beauty and anything that had anything to do with it. And my mom had gotten into a heated argument with my aunt, and
Mhm.
so the magazine happened to be on the bed, and I said, this would be pretty cool, to leave for Thanksgiving, being that the family is feuding. And I entered the Hype Hair Beauty contest, and I put my wardrobe together. And I was studying Tyra Banks at the time. I loved her TV show, and I traveled to New Jersey. I got there, and beautiful, beautiful setup. You walk in the first day. We were blessed to just kind of mingle and network. That is a huge. He's still doing that now, but
Yeah.
yeah, I got a chance to network with a slew of people who were in the entertainment industry. And some man came out of nowhere. I don't remember his name, Mr. B. I
Mhm.
don't even remember where he came from. This man came out of nowhere. I called him my angel, and I've been calling him that for 20 years now. He came
Mm.
out of nowhere and he said, "You're shy, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah, how can you tell?" And he said, "I noticed that you've been staring at Mr. Blassingame." And I said, "Yeah, you know what? I don't know what, I just know I got to meet him, but I don't know what to say."
Mm.
And he said, "Well, what do you think about him?" I said, "Well, he drips, he slays as it relates to how he dresses." I remember talking about your outfit. I said, he is, his whole from head to toe is impeccable.
Mhm.
I said, but his tie is so different. Nobody in here is wearing a tie. Like, I mean, not like his.
Right.
And he said, "Well,
Mm.
why don't you talk to him about that?" And I said, "You know what? That's a good idea." So I just walked over and just, I don't know if I interrupted this. I was on assignment. Walked
Right.
over. I think I interrupted this conversation because everybody was trying to get, to talk to him. And I walked over. I put my hand out and I said, "I had to meet you. I don't know if this is protocol. I don't know if it's right.
Mm.
I know
Mm.
I'm in the contest. I don't know if I can, but I had to meet you, one. And two, I had to compliment your tie." And Mr. B said to me, "Do you know how long it took for me to pick this tie out and not one person said nothing
Mm.
about my tie? What's your name?" And that's how we started.
Yeah, I want to say this, and in reference to that, I am the most down to earth person, and I'm not being egotistical. I'm just being
Mhm.
real.
Right.
I'm the most down to earth person. I don't have, much of a ego when it comes to meeting people.
Right.
You can come up to me, Marv. I think when I met you, I mean, we talked on the phone,
Yeah.
and I mean, I didn't talk like I had any ears about me. I said, "Listen, let's go and let's do this. This
Yeah.
is what it's going to take. This is what we have to do."
Yeah.
And that, that's part of my personality.
Yeah.
I'm not one that's going to be stuck up on, "Oh, well, I'm here and
Uh,
I shouldn't be able to talk to you, or you have to go through this person to get to me, or,
uh,
etc." I'm right here. If you
mm,
want to talk to me, you can give me a call. Or if you see me at an event and you want to come up to me, I will be as pleasant a personality as anyone can be. Okay, because that's just me.
yeah.
I don't like. I mean, hey, I have. I mean, if someone tries to insult you, of course you're gonna, respond to the insult. But
Right.
if you come up to me in a personality and you have a personality that just wants to say hi or to meet me or even ask me a question,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm here to answer that question, and that's what I'm about. And that's just the way I've been all my career, from the first show I did in 1976 to the day where in October 27th and 28th and 29th of 2023. Okay.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is, and that's the way I am. And I met her again at the Robert Treat Hotel when she was doing the Ebony Fashion Fair. Okay.
Mhm.
And I said, "Val, wow." And, I was so proud of her. Okay.
Mhm.
And her doing the Ebony Fashion Fair. And and we talked that day, because, it started out with the hype here, and it ended up at Ebony Fashion Fair. And, I'm still proud of her today because of what she's doing with her programs and things that she's doing on the shows that she's doing, and helping other folks.
Yeah.
Okay. And, and moving forward with, what she's doing with these shows and what have you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Valerie, let's talk about that, what you're doing currently. So you have a couple radio shows and PR. So let's talk about presently what you have going on.
Yeah, so I got into radio after COVID, the C word. I don't know if we can say that word, but yeah, so I worked with CeCe Pennington, Adina Howard, David Bannister, who else? The guy from Furious 5, Raheem. It's just a whole slew of people. I was doing PR for a ton of people.
Mhm.
And yeah, things slowed down. And then I got into radio, and my first podcast was with Judge Joe Brown, and we're still going strong today. I'm the executive producer of the Judge Joe Brown Show. He has other shows that he does, but there's only one, the Judge Joe Brown Show, or Judge Joe Brown Show, that we do, and it's on over 70 DSPs. And I, have been working with Mr. Blassingame to get his word out and to promote his events. So we have another radio show / podcast that we do. I have other people who are on the channel. Yeah, there's just, I like to do things to give people who are really grinding hard in the community a voice. So we got a guy who former military. He was actually the highest ranking in the military, and he works with some pretty high ups. He has a radio show. There's another person who you interviewed, Letitia Scott Jackson. Well, she's Dr. Letitia Scott Jackson now, but she is in and out, just helping people who are in and out of prison or just recently got out, and also their families. So she has a show where she highlights different celebrities who've been on vacation, and also the families. So I get to touch the community that way. I work with another judge, just a slew of different people. I work with vegans. I work with activists who are they're doing their thing in the community, and also a lot of young people, college students. Just one day, God just put it on my heart that this is linked to my purpose, and I go pretty hard.
well,
Doing that.
Speaking with college people,
Mhm.
and I'm speaking to Dr. Dennis, who worked with the HBCUs, and
Mhm.
he's talking
Mhm.
to me. He's talking to me about doing a fashion show, doing spring break to start out with the HBCUs in March, doing they call it spring break time at the Virginia Key Beach. They're coming up to the show in October, but they wanted to start out that and then find other locations across the country to take, like saying at the different HBCU schools, to do a fashion show with young designers. These are Afro-American designers and models to take their level to the next level, to take them to the next level. And it's a vehicle to give inspiration to young designers, young models, and to connect them to the fashion industry. So they're talking to me about that, and as I said, they're going to be coming to see the show that we're doing in November, in October. I'm sorry,
Awesome.
and going on from there. But he's connected to the historical Black colleges, across the country.
Like Valerie, you said your bulk of what you like to do is be in the community and about the kids that's coming up, right? Our future, and then Mr. B as well. What do you guys, and you both can answer this, what are you telling these young people about the industry and how to move in this industry and how to get to next levels? Like, what does that look like for you guys? Either one of you can answer that.
I try to let them know that what you put into anything you do, you get out of.
Mhm.
You have to be inspired, motivated, and also willing to work for your direction. Nothing in is nothing out.
Right.
Okay. Especially these days for a young Afro-American Black young adult. I put it that way.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, because we're in a very racist environment. Okay, so you have to be motivated to take it to the next level. Okay, first of all, you got to know who you are and know what you can do with your talent that you have. If you're, if you're 5'6", 5'5", don't try to be a runway model that that's supposed to be 5'9" and up. Okay, if you're size 10, 11, you know that you can't, you're not for that runway because that's a size 4 to 3 and 2.
Mhm.
Okay, so you look for commercial print or print modeling. Okay, know who you are, what you're about, and what you desire to do.
That's good.
Okay, then you do your due diligence to find out, okay, what is the way, or what do I have to do to get where I want to be, or who do I have to surround myself with, okay, to take me to that level as to where I want to be. Okay, if I want to be a perfect example, a millionaire, I don't hang around people that are broke
Right.
because they're not able to to show me. Okay,
Right.
surround yourself in that environment that you want to be. That's my bottom line.
Find somebody that's already doing what you want to do and doing it well, very successful at that, and surround yourself with that. And that's good information. That's good advice, Mr. B, is that know who you are and don't change who you are for anybody. Know who you are stepping into wherever you're trying to be. Know what you're capable of and what you have to do to be in the rooms and the places that you want to be in. Valerie, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, mine is a little different because I think that social media is a beast,
Ugh.
and they have kind of distorted titles. And so people are just, they call themselves what they call themselves, and it is insane that this is a reality. But the big girls are on the runway, the little girls are, I mean, it's just it's a lot. And it's really hard to define, but it's a beautiful insanity. And I say control your niche market, know who you are, and go after it, because people will follow people that excite them. You know what I mean? I hate that there's no such thing as traditional anymore, but Lizzo's out here. I mean, I know controversy surrounds her as we speak, but Lizzo's out here doing her thing, and then you have people who are smaller and may look a little, more traditional. They're out here doing their thing, and it's just people are just, I don't know. I just say if you believe in something, good, bad, or indifferent, I just ask that you don't hurt someone and you just be considerate, because fans are real. And if your message is toxic, you don't poison the babies. That's pretty much the only thing that I wish we could stop doing. But yeah, go for it, because you never know what the result will be.
I want to thank Thank you both for coming here. But before we go, I have one more question for you, Mr. B, and then lastly for you, Valerie. For you, Mr. Blassingame, you've been so relevant for so many years. And I know that just me on the outside looking in across entertainment, you can see somebody that's really good at something, right? Really good, maybe performing, really good modeling, but then they go away. What is it going to take, or what does it take to remain relevant in the business that you want to be in when it comes to entertainment? And I think you
Well,
have that example, Mr. B, because you're still here.
well, consistence overcomes resistance. I stay, I try to stay relevant, and I support, what's going on in the industry. People contact me and ask me questions. Can you do this? Can you help me out with this? I support them.
Mhm.
All right. It's been good in some instances and bad in others, but still overcoming, the situations of, as you just said, becoming irrelevant to the industry. Okay, all right. I've been at it a long time. Folks, I've helped a lot of publishers. I mean, Kim will tell you from Sheen what I've done for her.
Mhm.
Bernard will tell you from Upscale what I did for him. And, I worked with, as I told you before, when Essence first started, I worked and helped Jonathan, Ed, Clarence, and Cecil Hollingsworth with their book. I started out, working, learning myself,
Right.
but I started out with the the racist companies, and I stood by it. I stood there, I should say, and I learned the ways of how to get things done.
Mhm.
Okay. And then I brought it back to my community, and I'm still doing it today.
Love it.
I'm still doing it today, bringing it back to young publishers like yourself,
Yes.
Black Link Magazine,
Yes.
the IGK, all right? True Self Magazine. I mean, all the, I try to work with them and help them take their careers to the next level, all right? Sometimes I get credit, sometimes I don't. But it doesn't matter to me. It does matter because everybody has feelings.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
And
Well, thank
you
you,
know, but
Mr. B. That makes a lot of sense. Consistency. And I think being in the entertainment business, you have to have a certain backbone to be in this business. You have to be built for it as well, because there's a
yeah.
lot of peaks and valleys in this business. So,
Ooh, how are you? Who you telling? And a lot of today, folks, as I say, especially young folks today, you know, they don't have that had camaraderie that we used to have. Hey, I appreciate what you did. Let's go, let's go together.
Mhm.
Okay, not there, because especially it was our younger folks today.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. B, for that. So, Valerie, the last question I'm going to ask is, where do you see yourself being in the next, say, three months to a year? Like, what is your focus? And where do you want to go, and how do you want to get there?
Well, I know that the method I use now, meaning just audio, is very antiquated, even though I've surpassed my goals for this year as it relates to the various DSPs. But I want to do more films.
Mm.
I am an award-winning short filmmaker, so I want to get my equipment again together and hit the road so that we can record and get interviews because we need to tell their story. So, we need to hear it from them and not other people's versions of their story. So I want to do that. So in 3 to 6 months, you'll see me making web series and shorts as opposed to just doing radio. And I hope to expand my public relations business and to work with people who are, very, very passionate about what they're doing, because there's no such thing now as a celebrity per se, just people who are very passionate about what they're promoting. That is the definition of a celebrity, and anybody is welcome. You know what I mean? Insta fame is a very, very real thing. So I just want to work with some people who are high vibrational.
Yeah.
I said David Bannister earlier. It's David Banner. I don't know why that's sticking in my head, but yeah, that's what you'll see me doing more of. And I just want to dedicate everything that I'm doing, this journey that I'm on, to my mother, Jean Dolores Jones, and my father, Alan Jones, because it is because of them that, you see the grind and the passion. And my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Yes.
To him, I owe everything.
Yes.
And yeah, thank you so much again, Mr. B, for giving me an opportunity. As I mentioned, you were the first person to trust me to be on a stage, and I appreciate that. I will always remember that. And thank you too, Marva, for being such a beautiful spirit and giving people such as myself an opportunity to tell our stories. That's what I want to do more of.
That's amazing. Well, thank you both for being here. I have a high level of respect for you both. Mr. B, you know how I feel about you, and I appreciate everything that you do for Black Link Magazine. And you guys, I wish you nothing but continued success. Keep going and keep.
And listen, all the best to you, Marva and Valerie.
Thank you.
And, take it from, the voice of experience and have been down that road and up that road and just keep it going. Don't let people, because you're going to have folks come at you.
Oh, yeah.
Don't start. Don't, keep it moving. Don't, forward motion.
Absolutely.
Forward motion. Don't let nobody set you back.
Absolutely. You always encourage me. I just got a newfound encouragement when you said that. Thank you for that. So you guys, again, thank you so much. I can't wait to see y'all next week. Listen, you guys listening, October the 28th through 27th, 28th, 29th, Newark, New Jersey, All-State Fashion, the
All-Star Fashion Weekend, Halloween All-Star Fashion Weekend.
Yes. With the legendary Mr. John Blassingame. We have so many.
And Mr. Bernard Bronner, Marva Thomas, Valerie Jones.
Yes.
Okay, we'll be in the house.
Yes.
So come on out and enjoy.
Everybody,
God bless.
This is a weekend to remember. So y'all get on Eventbrite and you can search
All-Star Fashion Weekend on Eventbrite.
Yeah, tell them how they can reach you. I always do that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No problem. Mr. B, you want to go first?
No, but they can reach me on Instagram, New Day Associates, all one word, New Day Associates, okay, or the antiquated way, which is the 609-655-3667. That's my cell phone. We're working on the website now, so it'll be up very shortly.
Awesome. Valerie?
Awesome.
Valerie?
And yes, so you find me on Fridays on the Judge Joe Brown Show, Fridays, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to Judge Joe Brown. And also my website is ValerieDeniseJones.com, ValerieDeniseJones.com. And on there, you'll find a plethora of links, and you'll see all of our success stories, all our Black love. We do celebrate Black excellence. So if you've got a story, that would be beautiful if, you can share them with more of Marva. Please follow her on her platforms, Mr. B, and also connect with me. We want to get your stories out. That would be a beautiful thing. I'm on Instagram. I'm on every platform. Just look for my name, Valerie Denise Jones, and you'll find me. But yeah, we definitely want to tell these stories. And thank you guys so much. It was an honor and a pleasure to be in your presence today, and I appreciate this opportunity.
Very well.
Thank you.
So again, you guys, we're going to go for now. You know where to find me, Black Link Magazine everywhere. So go follow us. We're going to go for now. Remember, respect yourself, respect.
Oh, can I say this too?
Absolutely.
Very important.
Yes.
You are on the newsstands and bookstores and Books A Million. Please tell them to go on the newsstands and the Books A Million stores across the country. Okay, you are and the Penn News in New York, the Magazine Cafe. They
Yeah.
can pick up their copy of Black Link magazine today on the newsstand.
Go get it, y'all. Go get it. And thank you for your support ahead of time. I know you'll go pick you one up. Go to Books A Million, Penn Newsstands, the Magazine Cafe in Manhattan, New York. Go check us out. Go pick you a copy up. We really would appreciate it. Anything else, Mr. B, Valerie, we got?
That's it. That's
Shout
most
out to
important.
Charlie Joe Dodd. Thank you so much for shouting out my web link and all the people in your comment section and your entire team.
Yeah.
Marva.
I love her.
Rayanu. Yeah, all the people in the chat. We love you guys to life.
Thank
you so much for your support.
Yeah. My Oklahoma peeps. All right, you guys, have a good one. We'll be talking to y'all soon. Valerie, enjoy the rest of your day.